Are you leaving us, Mary, to go on to other meetings?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll leave you in charge, Roger.
All right, we'll look for the waiting room.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Thank
Mary.
you, you too.
Thanks, Mary.
Go right ahead. Said, who's going to do the sharing?
Are you talking to us?
Yes,
Okay, sorry.
and
I-
then I
did
will
you-
mute myself.
Did you open the meeting?
We could do that. Call the meeting to order at 6:01. It's a working session with MRPC to discuss the DLTA grant projects currently underway. And then we'll wrap up with next step for current year.
All right, thank you, Roger.
Welcome Karen Johnson, Jennifer Burney, and Chris McDermott. Go ahead,
Karen
Karen.
Chapman.
I think
Karen Chapman.
You have permission to share if you'd like.
I am not sharing.
Okay, do you want me? I don't mind going first. Hi.
Hello.
I sort of just, can you hold up for a second, Jennifer?
Sure can.
Sorry, I just wanted to let the planning board know, I'm sure Roger told you that I've handed off the projects to these two wonderful people here who are new hires at MRPC. We've actually hired 7 people since October. Is that when you came on, Chris?
Yeah,
Yeah.
late September, early October, yeah.
So we needed to hire that many people to do all of the projects that we have. So I apologize that it's taken so long. And we can start off with Jennifer. She is doing the Wetlands Waterways project. So she can start out explaining where she is on that.
Hi, everyone. And I just started November 16th. So been working on this project. I was going to share my screen, if that's okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So let me just make sure I can do that.
I'm sorry, I meant to say Jennifer Burney, our new senior planner, and Chris McDermott, who's our economic development manager. Sorry.
So it looks like you have to allow me, someone has to allow me, the host, to share a screen. And if
Roger,
not,
that's you.
that's fine. I don't have to.
Roger should just be able to right click on
Yeah.
the sharing thing at the bottom, and it should give you the ability to make it multiple.
It was already. I'll do multiple, that's fine. Yep.
Can you see my screen?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Jennifer, what's your last name again?
Bernie,
Burney?
Burney.
I'll turn it off and turn it back on.
I just want to make sure there's nothing I have to do on my end.
Gonna get mine for the moment, I think.
Oops.
Okay.
Okay,
now-
so it says, yep. So it says I can do it. So let me just pull up. You can see my screen now.
Give
No,
it a
that was
second.
Roger's screen that came up.
Let's see. Can you see a PowerPoint?
No, not yet.
No? Huh. Let's try that. You gotta love technology. Works great when you want it to. All right, let's see. I think it will come up now.
There you
There
go.
we go.
All right, great. So this is just quickly just to let you know what I'm working on. Just to back up, this is a project funded under DLTA, the District Local Technical Assistance Program. And I'm not sure how much background you have on the project, so I apologize if you already know this, but maybe there's new members. Back in 2015, the Department of Environmental Protection, DEP, issued a consent order requiring that the zoning complies with DEP's drinking water regulations. So there, I'm not sure if you got the handout that I emailed Roger. I think I emailed that to you. Well, I did email it earlier. I wasn't sure if you were able to share that, but I will share that with everyone. And that has more details in that.
Is that what you just sent us at 5:43 today? Roger?
Yes, that's what went out at just before the meeting. Yep.
Yep.
I haven't looked at it.
So in the DEP compliance, it's referring to their regulations. So there's two sections in the bylaw. There's section 3.3 that discusses prohibited uses in the wetlands and the watershed protection district and the water supply protection district. And then the second section is the floodplain district regulations. So in the email that you got today with the attachment are the draft bylaw recommendations. And again, it's draft right now. And I'm thankful to Marshall Dennis, who's the Conservation Commission chair, who provided some of these comments. So the next steps really are for the planning board to review the draft language. One of the recommendations, and this is up to the planning board to decide how you'd like to do this. It could either be at a future planning board meeting, or you could assign one planning board member, one conservation member to meet with the zoning enforcement officer just to review some of the questions that have come up. So again, you can decide how you'd like to move forward with that. I'm happy to participate. It could be a Zoom call and then report back to the planning board. But there are some questions that we need to review and go through that. So I think the next steps would be for the planning board to look it over, see if you have any questions or comments, and then there is some future review that has to be done.
So are these edits to our current Ashburnham's bylaw?
Yes, I'm sorry. So the if you go through the email attachment that Roger sent out a short while ago, that is your bylaw. So the reason it's coming to the planning board, as you know, is the planning board is the board that revises zoning. So it'd have to go to town meeting. When is your town meeting typically?
Typically it's in May, but
Okay.
Yeah, usually the first week of May. So we need to have a public hearing, anytime between now and then.
Okay.
also be aware that the select board has just established a bylaw review committee.
Oh,
And they
okay.
are, and that's led by Selectman Bill Johnson. And he's putting together a committee that's trying to go through, and because we have bylaws and then we have amendments to bylaws and there's some inconsistencies there, and they're going
Okay.
through to change all of them.
Oh,
That will
good.
happen before the next town meeting, but
Mhm.
that presumably would happen in the fall a year from now, something like that.
So fall of 2022?
2021 probably.
Oh, 2021. Okay.
2021 or a year from this May. One of
Okay.
those two.
Or spring of
2022.
2022.
Yeah.
So I guess at some point then it would make sense to send, I think maybe the planning board, I would recommend that the planning board look it over, see what your thoughts are, and then the planning board could consider sending this to the Board of Selectmen Review Committee just to see how they would want to move forward. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Yes.
This one is, this is, I think, item 10 on the list of 10 items that DEP had given the town a few years ago.
Yeah,
So
Okay,
we've been working on this for a couple of years, and then a previous member, George, had done discussion with DEP on getting the language that the draft of what we sent you to begin with.
mhm,
But also, as far as the W district is essentially, yes, you'll tell us in a little bit, but if it's a conflict with our zoning bylaws, we want to get that corrected, as soon as we can, which would be this year, because it does affect some properties in town that potentially could be coming before the board.
okay. Yeah, and another thing, looking over the material that was provided to me is the zoning map versus the map, the wetlands map. So that's something that, would have to be reviewed further. Do you know, has the planning board looked into that in the past? And as you review it, you'll see those questions. I have questions and further analysis or further research that's needed. But those are things that we can look at on if anything needs to be changed within the zoning map. Do you have any of the bylaw or recommendations that George had with the DEP? Karen, I don't know if you've received that.
No, I don't
That
have
was
that.
sent along with the application, I believe, but I can find the language for that section that George had worked back and forth with DEP on.
Okay.
It
And when you,
probably went in with the application, though,
which application to the,
to
To the
MRPC.
DLTA, yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
So,
to the
last year.
GLTA? Okay. We'll
So
take
the
a look at that.
yeah, I
too.
believe it's the 5 attachments that I sent to you, Jen.
Okay, so I have all of that. I do have all of that. So that's what I was kind of going through and then incorporating everything in the draft language that you have. But again, it's, still very draft, but. There any other thoughts or questions? Do you have any thoughts on like scheduling a meeting? Who is the zoning enforcement officer? Is that your building inspector or is that?
Yeah, that's the building inspector. We have a new person, Sarah, who's just started.
Okay,
And I think she's started
Wonderful.
part-time, but she's, I don't know what the schedule is for transitioning in, but she is,
fresh.
I think, in the office at least a couple of days a week. She's previously been in Fitchburg and Gardner, so.
Oh, okay, great. Okay,
So she doesn't really have a history in Ashburnham.
She moved to town a year or two ago.
Oh, so she
So
lives
she's
in
a
town.
resident.
Oh, cool.
yeah. And maybe she has some experience or recommendations just from
Mhm.
her past, working in Fitchburg and Gardner, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, if you could look over the draft language, if you can for now, and then let me know how, you would like to move forward, whether it's the entire planning board or just you want to have one member meet with the zoning enforcement. And again, this can be through Zoom, a zoning enforcement officer and conservation, just for one meeting.
Yeah, but the intent of the application with MRPC was to have everything ready to go for a town meeting.
Great. And
Whatever we need from you so that those of us who, as I say, if it was me, I don't know what I'm talking about trying to present this at a town meeting. So that's why MRPC is assisting us with it.
yeah, no, that's what we're here to do, to help. I know all of these things can be, really complex. And so if we can work to try to facilitate things as well, to have those conversations. And it might make
And-
sense, you know, to have DEP take a look at this too before it goes to town meeting early on, so that we can get their feedback to say, is there anything else that, you know, we need to add, any additional language? Okay.
They're full of words.
Well, I know planning boards, you know, you have a lot to work with. So my
Yeah.
background, I'm, you know, 15 years working in municipalities, working directly with planning boards. So I know you guys have a lot that you work with. So that's why we're here to help you. So we'll get this ready for town meeting and hopefully get it approved so you can, you know, get this off your plate and move on to your next thing. So. All right, so how often do you meet? Are you meeting twice a month?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Generally, yes.
okay. What would be reasonable for you, you know, just to take a look at this? And, you know, if you have any comments, some of the things I have comments on the side, just your thoughts, and maybe you don't have comments, that's fine as well. So just let me know.
Well, I think I would like you to just set a timeline for us so that we can keep on track.
Okay, great. So I can do that, a timeline. Yep. It would be great if, you know, maybe by your next meeting, you can at least look this over. And also, if you could let me know how the planning board wants to proceed on whether they want a working meeting with just one member or the full board, because that will help. Okay.
Roger, should we contact the building commissioner or will you?
I can do that.
Just, you know, introduce her to the project and
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
give her maybe Jennifer's contact.
We'll do that.
I had a conversation today with your health agent, and he was very helpful. So. Okay. All right, well, I will put a timeline together and I think it looks like you want to try to aim for the, you know, this coming town meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. All right. So Chris, I don't know if you want to go next and just talk about what you're doing, if there's no further questions on the wetlands.
Sure things. Thanks, Joe.
And then I can stop the screen share.
Mhm.
And we are MRPC, not MAPC.
Oh, did I
Jen.
do that? So sorry. You know, did I say
A little far to the
MAPC?
west.
I've been working in the MAPC region for 15 years, so that's why that.
We all strive to be MAPC.
No, I love RPC.
All we got to do is like double our staff a couple more times and we'll be right
Right, no
Yeah.
problem.
Trust me, I would never have noticed the difference. The state has so many acronyms, I can't.
I
I just
know.
figured it was something new.
I'm so sorry. Thank you for picking up. Sometimes you,
Glenn used to have a list of them. It was 2 or 3 pages long.
of the acronyms.
Oh, yeah,
Of
he
the
loves to do
acronyms,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. And I always try to avoid acronyms. So hopefully you'll see in this document, I've tried to spell them all out. So anything that where there's an acronym. All right, so I'm going to stop share. And Chris, you should be.
that looks like, yep, looks like you took off the
Okay.
share. Perfect. So thank you all for this opportunity. I think I'll be a little more brief than Jen was. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation or anything to share on the screen, but I've been working on the housing production plan. Karen put me in touch regarding this project probably about a month ago. So we're moving through what I would really consider phase one of the project. Karen and Roger were kind enough to provide me with a great deal of information. It looks like Karen did a lot of work pulling together some of the graphs and tables needed to really update this plan. She also shared with me your previous production plan from 2007 and Groton's plan in circa 2018, 2019, which we're using as a template. So I've gone through those using the information that Karen and Roger have shared with me. We've been able to update to date the summary of needs and the affordable housing goals segments of the paper, as well as what I'm currently moving through right now, updating all the tables, the figures, the charts, the graphs, all the hard data that we'll really need to develop the body of the work. I'm hoping to finish that work out probably around the end of the month, at which point we're going to move on to phase two, which is going through the document. And as I said, updating the pros to reflect the conditions in Ashburnham and the information that we've gathered in those tables.
One of the things that set us back on this project, when we have a project go past the end of the year, is the data changes each year. The census comes out with new
Yes.
data, and so we had all that 2018 data, and so now we are updating it to the 2019.
And I think in November, we were gonna, or at least our first meeting in December, anticipate the results of the survey.
Yes, I sent those to you.
Yep, I received them. I haven't had a chance to really incorporate them into the paper yet or really analyze them in any way, shape, or form. Right now, I'm just sort of going through fitting the data in where the template allows it. After I do that, we'll begin going through the, after we do the data sweep, we'll begin going through the actual document itself and, seeing where things match, seeing where conditions are similar to what they were in 07, maybe encrypting some language with that where appropriate, otherwise creating new language to address new strategies.
And just to reiterate, sorry that we've dragged this project on, and you're not the only ones. We've been having this meeting with all of our towns. So it's not an excuse, it's just reality. We were overworked. But it's a new day. Today's a new day. We move forward.
Sorry, my border collie just busted through the door, so.
So where are
Yeah,
you and
well-
what's next for us with this?
The housing production plan?
Yes,
Yeah. Like I said, I'm hopefully going to be able to close out the data update segment of this project by, I'd say, at the end of the month. Like I said, at that point, it comes down to going through and updating the body. That's going to take some time. It's not a small document, so there's a lot of work to update. I anticipate that'll probably take a couple of months to move through and really up. Oh, I keep saying update, but really bring up into the current day.
So when you said phase one, you were talking about the data update.
Mm-hmm.
So phase
That is
one
correct.
is the data update, and you're saying that'll be done by the end of January. And you're saying
That's the
it'd
goal.
be
Yes.
a couple of months later at the end of March or so, you
Mhm.
have the rest of it?
Yep.
Yeah, ask what do you need from us then to help you?
At the moment, I don't really need anything just yet. This is by and large just a introduction, just to give you guys a quick status report on where things stand at the moment. I'm certain there are going to be cases where I'll want to speak to people within the town, within the community regarding, different fields of expertise. Making sure that the housing production plan meshes with what's going on within your community. So as those questions arise, I have Roger's email, I have Karen's, and I'll be happy to bring any further information or requests for information to you as we progress through this project.
Will we see a draft of the report at the end of March, or that's when you're targeting getting the whole thing done?
A draft would be what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So then roughly another month or so after that for us to.
Probably something around that, yes.
I think,
I imagine it's going to stimulate a fair amount of discussion in the town.
Mhm.
what did we have? One accessory dwelling unit in 2020 and the rest single-family homes?
I think I saw one going up around 2018. I think it was 6 units.
Well,
Might have been further up. That might have been further back too.
yeah, that's, we don't know where that is. If it could be the completion of the OSRD on Sherbert Road,
Mhm.
went on for years. Those were
Yep.
duplexes. I think they originally started as an over 55, had it removed, and then came back and wanted to put it back on as an over 55. So I
Yep.
think they may have completed, and that's what's showing as the 6 units.
Mhm.
And that goes back for years for approval on that. But other than that, here or there, an accessory dwelling unit, but that's it other than single-family homes.
I know that there'll be considerable, I would expect there'll be interest in your evaluation, or at least your cursory evaluation of the survey data. So when do you think, I assume that's something you'll be working on when you're putting together the draft of the report, but is there a way for that to come to us earlier?
Yeah, I can move that up.
I mean, just in terms of inviting you to one of our meetings and putting it on the agenda as an update to where you are in preparing the draft and letting us know your verbal overview of the report and what the survey data tells you as somebody who's experienced at looking at this kind of stuff.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to do something. If you had a meeting in mind coming up in the next month or so, I'd be happy to attend.
Yeah, well, we have a couple of them in February, maybe one of those. I defer to
Mhm.
Roger because he sets the agenda, but
Yeah, just let us know. So the other thing, that we've gone through this twice with Karen on the list of town properties as
Mhm.
far as their suitability. An ongoing task with the Board of Selectmen is trying to dispose of town-owned properties that the town has no need for or use for,
Yep.
and identifying ones that have some potential for the
Mhm.
town. So I think we'd like to be able to give our input to the Board of Selectmen on that is whenever they need it. which
Yes.
Could be
Yes.
whenever.
That. Mhm. That's something I can take a further look into. Yeah, I can prioritize that. So absolutely.
So Roger, you guys as a board went through all the properties and decided, yes, this is a good one, no, this is not?
I don't think we've discussed it further than with you the last time.
Okay,
If you need us to do that, we will.
I know that there's a lot of work going on and I'm not privy to it. But I do know that the Board of Selectmen have been looking and the new town, well, he's not so new anymore, but the town administrator, that has been sort of one of their areas of focus lately, trying to understand the amount of properties that are town-owned and what the town should be doing with them or how they should be caring for them.
well, I believe it was, Bill, was it Bill Johnson that was at your last meeting and he was
Mhm.
talking about the properties and that they were gonna go through them. But they didn't expect to be done before this needs to be done, so, you're hoping that what we come up with from the list in concert with you will inform the Board of Selectmen which parcels you guys would like as housing,
Mhm.
right?
And yeah, and
Okay.
depend on the, results of the survey and the preferences of the
Right, right.
responders. We'll kind of give an indication of what, is there support to go forward with any of those types.
Right. Okay,
We did get some assistance from the Council on Aging and Jan in getting respondents to the survey.
yeah.
I just happened to catch them in town hall as they were distributing the meals. I said, "Oh, can you run
Here,
some
take
copies off
these."
and put them in the bags?" Yeah. So we got some back that way.
Well,
What'd
we
you get?
appreciate,
Almost 70?
yeah, it was like 74, and then you sent me an additional one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys coming out. I'm sorry that we don't have much more information than I had. But we are moving forward and we hope to, get this done in short order.
All right.
Great.
At least my suggestion is we meet again like this outside of a regular meeting so that we have sufficient time.
Right.
Public is welcome to join and watch too, but it's a little more pressured if we've got people, time constraints and people waiting to have their time before the board.
So you're usually the first and third.
Second and fourth Wednesday
Oh,
are our regular meetings.
oh. But this month was screwed up because last month was screwed up, right?
No, actually, this month, this is an extra meeting.
Oh, this is your
Yeah.
extra meeting.
Yes.
We had a meeting last week and we have one next week.
Oh, well,
Boy, thank you.
yeah, thank you.
And seem to be getting busier.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm happy to meet anytime on Zoom if it makes sense, to try to push, things forward. Anytime I could send out, just let me know times or days that work, or I can send out a doodle poll.
Is the new building commissioner full-time, Roger?
Will be.
Will be.
Oh, great.
And she's starting when?
I think she has started at least a couple days a week or something
Okay,
to transition in.
okay. So we'll give her a little bit of time, couple days to
Before we get her up.
get
We need to get
organized.
moving on these.
Yes, we understand. Okay,
Okay.
sounds
At
good,
least to
thank
get-
you.
At least to
Thank you
get
very-
one ready for the town meeting.
Yes, we want to get that one. We
Uh,
definitely will get that one for town meeting.
And, we'll pass it on to the Board of Selectmen for they're the ones that give it the go-ahead
Yep,
back to us to hold the public hearings and get it on the ballot warrant. But the last thing, did we have, was the
the new
current grant
DLTA.
application. So we're going to submit for round one for the land use chapter of the master plan.
Okay,
But then we're open to discussion, suggestions, or whatever on what we should do additionally.
well, you have a current open space and recreation plan, correct?
Yeah, that's probably was the most recent, other than the economic development one.
Right, so we will use part of your open space and recreation plan for the land use chapter,
Mhm.
as well as any other documents we can find, but typically the land use chapter is done after any other of the land use type of chapters. So the housing, the natural resources, the
Mhm.
open space. So those are usually done, and then the land use chapter is done.
Yeah.
But you can go in any order you want.
Well, I'm thinking some of those other ones probably may not have changed much. You can look at that and tell us, but I don't see where, if they're even 10 years old, they haven't changed
Right.
significantly.
Well, there may be new recommendations or new,
Yeah.
new funding sources, new
Mhm.
regulations or what have you that would change what you want to do. As well as your
Or-
population. Your population now may not want what the population wanted 10 years ago.
Mhm. The other things are, as they're working on the bylaws, town bylaws, and then the zoning bylaws,
Right,
and coming up with more of a wish list type thing of where they see issues or what they think needs to be changed. Maybe setting a direction, not actually writing any changes, but at least deciding what they should be,
right.
maybe. If anything, we can, recommendations that we could go ahead with, at least preparing for, or do we just go for something completely different, like mapping the cemeteries or digitally mapping our water and sewer?
Mm,
Because you'll find that there isn't a comprehensive mapping of both, or a
Wow.
complete map, or a complete mapping of either, where you can use for your land use, for making any recommendations. I know
Right.
we've got CDs and some digitized of recent projects or whatever, but I don't believe there's a compiled digital version of either system.
Wow.
That's actually a problem across the region. I was speaking to RKG yesterday regarding a project they're doing for the chamber, which was my previous employer. And we're working on some planning as well. We're trying not to recreate the wheel. And that's exactly what they said that the region needed is a region-wide resource map for water and sewer.
Some of the information is still in people's heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those
Uh,
people are getting older.
I say we can't look at a map and tell someone that you've got water and sewer.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a highlighted map, kind of. So, George was on our board, probably knew as much as anybody about where water and sewer were in town.
Does
Some
the
areas
town-
have both, some areas have one or the other.
Oh,
Huh.
I was just going to ask, does the town is it all private septic and wells, or is there any public?
There's a town sewer system in the center of town,
Oh, okay.
which then collects and pumps it up the hill to Gardner.
I thought shit
We'll
rolled
stop there.
downhill.
It does till it gets to the pumps. But that's a limited system.
And you do have
Beyond there-
water too.
But there are areas that
Limited
have one
water.
or the other. Actually,
Right.
water is fairly extensive. But there's some that have one or the other. Or they may have houses that aren't tied in.
Oh,
So
they're
this is-
on, they could get it, but they're not getting it.
Yeah, I think there's probably a few properties that are still on their septic, even though there's a sewer system going by their house.
Mhm.
And you share the water and the sewer, or just the water? I thought you had a thing with Westminster.
On water.
No, it's a dual system. It's one reservoir, and Ashburnham and Westminster each draw
Oh,
from that
you each
reservoir.
draw from the reservoir.
It's
Okay.
one building with two complete different systems, two intakes and
Huh.
two systems. But the portion of the town up on Sunset Lake is supplied off the Winchton side of the system,
Okay.
off
Okay.
the main that goes to Winchton. But so at least from what the water commissioners have said at our previous meetings with them, that there's plenty of water and capacity in the sewer system.
Okay. All right, so I think that's everything.
I say, as soon as, When do you want the comments back from us on what you presented us today to review?
What would be enough time? I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but timelines are also good too.
They are, otherwise, if you give us 4 weeks,
Okay,
we'll do it in week 4. If you give us 2 weeks, we'll do it in week 2.
okay. So I'm gonna crack the whip and say 2
yes.
weeks.
Okay,
What
Okay,
can
about,
we get it to you
Our
And
first
at
meeting
least
is
by
the-
February 9th meeting?
is that your next meeting? Yeah.
That'll be our
that
second
works.
meeting.
By February, when was it?
9th.
9th.
9th is our February
is it
meeting?
Tuesday?
Maybe it's the 10th. I'm not looking at a
The
calendar.
10th.
9th is a
10th.
Tuesday, so it must be
It
the
would be the
10th.
10th.
Whatever the second Tuesday in February is.
Oh,
So
Tuesday.
I would recommend then we say the 12th, because we would have our meeting, get our comments, and then pass them along to you by the end of the week.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you'll get them to me the 12th. Okay.
Okay.
I
that
thought you were
sounds
meeting
good.
next week.
Yeah, we are, but we have a pretty full agenda, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Or we had, maybe we don't anymore. I don't know.
We may- One thing got withdrawn today, but then again, I know that there's a couple of others that have called and said we're coming with stuff, so.
So once again, I had fun working with you guys, and I'm sorry that you won't see me at your next meeting.
Thank you for your help.
Yes, thank you, Karen.
Unless I get assigned the next
The
project.
next one, yeah.
Thank you, Karen.
So
Thank
who's
you
doing the
so much.
update for next month's MRPC meeting?
Who's doing the update?
Don't you do, preparing the status reports?
Oh, yes, fun times for all.
Yes,
Thank you, Jennifer and Chris.
so
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
we'll get those comments to you by
Sounds
that,
good.
whatever that date, when, and then you'll have something by the end of March. Shall we plan on scheduling another meeting like this in
Yeah.
March?
Yes, that would be very helpful. Yep, I'll work on a timeline and I'll send that
Yeah,
to you.
yes,
See if
please,
it
so we
works
can-
with some suggested meeting dates.
yes.
Yeah, and then
those-
they can look at that at their meeting next week.
Yeah. Have the Board of Selectmen released the town meeting calendar yet? Do they do that, like when you have to have a public hearing by?
They
or
haven't
anything?
yet.
Okay,
They're still trying to figure out how to have it.
Yeah,
okay,
a
yeah,
lot of towns
It's
are
very
already,
It's a very big topic right now
okay.
with the select board because of COVID.
yeah, a
Mhm.
lot of towns have already pushed it out.
And they're trying to figure out how to do the election. And usually the town meeting is right after the election, so
Right.
a couple things.
Crazy times.
We're having our election in Townsend this Saturday.
Really.
Yeah, in Town Hall.
Oof.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Townsend. Come on down. Right, Lindsay?
Yep, there's something in the water over there.
I'm hoping I can move out before it infiltrates me.
All right,
Your
All right,
town-
guys, thank you.
all right.
Thank you very
Bye,
much.
nice
Right.
Thank
meeting
you.
everyone.
and
Bye-bye, everyone.
I
Thank
guess
you.
I'll need a motion to adjourn.
So
I'll
moved.
second that.
Second.
Oh, I suppose we can do a roll call vote to adjourn. Even though we didn't do it to open. Walt,
Yes.
Roger, yes. Larry,
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Richard?
Yeah.
It's confirmed unanimous.
Along. Everyone have a good day.
Yeah.
Yes,
night.
and read your emails.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you, folks.
Good night.
Take care.